Welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho, and it's Monday. As always, we take a look at next week's NFL schedule, make win-loss picks for every game. But first, we take a look at the weekend and where I was right, where I was wrong. We were pretty accurate this week. I go 11-2, and then tonight we do have the Falcons over Buffalo and the Chicago Bears over Washington. Hopefully, I will get both of those correct and go 13-2. So far, pretty accurate. The two I got wrong were the Giants upset over the Eagles. I did take Philly, as most of the country did. And then I was also on the Jaguars at home over Seattle. I thought the cross-country road trip may factor in, but no. Sam Darnold looked very good against Jacksonville. So the Jags one was wrong. The Eagles let me down. Otherwise, though, I was right on all other 11 games. And hopefully tonight, at worst, I go 1-1. I'm looking to go 13-2 tonight. But on the week, these are the poll results, and y'all do go 10-3. I do pick up yet another game. That's 2 weeks in a row where I've been more accurate by one game than the audience. And let's just recap all the poll results. We did agree on Philadelphia. Even in the live stream, over 75% of those who are watching thought that the Eagles wouldn't just win, but also cover the spread by, what was it, 7.5 points? That one was very wrong. So the Eagles let us all down. They are not looking too hot right now, 2 straight L's. And then the Broncos, off the Eagles loss, did barely beat the Jets. Not as convincing as we thought, but they did get the win. Everyone was correct on that. And then we were also right about the Chargers. They won at the buzzer, essentially, off Cameron Dicker, another field goal to put them over the top. A nice win over Miami, but they should have won by more. As a Charger fan, I'm a little worried about them in the moment. But the Seahawks, you guys did take over Jacksonville. That game was relatively close in terms of poll results. That one was closer to 50-50, but the majority of those watching did take Seattle. I took Carolina, though. Y'all did not call this upset. Y'all believed in the Cowboys defense, and I took Rico Dowdle. Dowdle had his revenge, as expected. So that's where I picked up a game on y'all, even though I lost one with the Jaguars. And then we both agreed on the Colts. They did win. They maybe didn't win as convincingly as we thought, though. This percentage gap is massive, probably the biggest disparity between two teams overall this week. But the Colts did win as expected. They did not cover, though, and I was right on that one. We'll get to our against the spread picks later on, though. The Patriots won. The Steelers won. The Rams won. That one was an easy call. The Raiders did beat Tennessee. That one was somewhat closer, but most of y'all did take Las Vegas. The Bucs also won. Baker making his case for MVP. The Packers won. And then y'all overwhelmingly took Detroit. The ratio was about 80-20 in favor of the Lions. I did take Kansas City, and y'all were incorrect. So we were both wrong on Philly. We evened the slate with the Seahawks and Jags. And then this Chiefs pick is where I picked up a critical game. So I go 11-2, y'all go 10-3. And maybe by the end of tonight, I will have a lower record than y'all. We are both disagreeing on both of the games. I took the Falcons, y'all took Buffalo, and then I took Chicago. Y'all are taking Washington. So we will see. We will find out what happens, but there is a chance I go 13-2, and y'all could go 10-5. If I go 2-0 tonight, that would really help me in the overall standings, because on the season, although I have picked up 2 games over the last 2 weeks, I had a rough start, and I am still 5 games back. So I am hoping not to fall 7 games back tonight. That would really suck. But on the year, y'all are 58-32-1, and I am slowly coming back. I'm now 53-37-1, and that is a gap of 5 overall correct on the year. I'm coming back. But this week against the spread, we do have 1 pick left. Tonight we are taking Chicago to win and cover, but hopefully they can at least lose by less than 5 points. I'm taking Chicago plus 4.5 tonight, but the other 5 so far, I have a winning record. 3-2 in my other 5 picks. We did take Kansas City in a pick'em. That was correct. The Rams did win in a close to blowout, 17-3, maybe not an amazing victory, but still did cover. The Broncos did not cover. Sadly, that one didn't work out. And then the Niners did not come as close as I thought. That one did not work out. But I did take Arizona, not just at plus 5.5, but also plus 7. Both numbers did work out for me. The Jacoby Brissett revenge game did pan out as a close one. So hopefully tonight I'm right about Chicago and we go 4-2. On the year, I am still below 500 because weeks 3 and 4, I went 1-11. On the year, I'm 15-20. I still need to pick up some ground to get back to even. So that is it for the recap. Now let's move on to the slate of week 7 games. And these are my picks overall. On Thursday night, we have the Steelers at the Bengals. And I know it's easy to just trust Mike Tomlin. The Steelers are atop the division. But if you do not know Mike Tomlin's record on Thursday Night Football, this may change your mind. Overall, Mike Tomlin has coached in 18 Thursday Night Football games. His overall record is 8-10. But if you look closer, on the road, he is 2-8. At home, he is 6-2. And this game is in Cincinnati. So odds are, the percentages are saying there's only a 20% chance of him winning this game. And then you factor in it's in division. His record in division on the road on Thursday Night Football is 0-7. Mike Tomlin sucks on Thursday in the AFC North when it's not in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to buy into these trends. I believe in the percentages. 0-7 is likely to turn in to 0-8. So next week, they're going to face off against the Packers. And if you are telling me Aaron Rodgers is not thinking about that game a little bit extra compared to this Bengals matchup against Flacco, oh boy, you are underestimating Aaron Rodgers' pettiness. So I will take Cincinnati. I believe the Steelers are vulnerable against the pass. Their secondary hasn't been elite this year. And then Darius Slay is banged up. Even Joey Porter Jr., not 100%, is a bit sore entering the week. So I think he'll play, but to convince me he can cover Jamar Chase, I don't see it. And then I also see the number 2 corner having a rough time on T. Higgins. So the Bengals defense is ass. I do think the Steelers will keep it interesting, but the Bengals are bad against the run, and I don't think Jalen Warren and Kenny Gainwell are best equipped to exploit them on the ground. So maybe I'm way off base. Maybe the Bengals are just ass, but I did see some life on offense with Flacco, and I could see some extra motivation. Flacco was already prepping for this game when he was a Brown. Last week, he would have faced off against Pittsburgh had he been the quarterback. So I think he's ready to go. I think the Cincinnati Bengals can catch the Steelers sleeping, and I think Rodgers is a little bit more preoccupied with the Week 8 matchup hosting Green Bay. Give me Cincinnati with the upset over the Steelers. I think Pittsburgh will win the division, but in this matchup, I think anything can happen. Give me the upset in Cincy. We are riding with the Bengals. Someone in the background, my little girl Leia, would be upset if I went against her team. So we're taking the Bengals. Give me Cincinnati on Thursday night. On Sunday, in London, we have the Jags, who are technically the London home team. They've played a lot in the UK against Sean McVay and the Rams. The Rams just played in Baltimore. They are already on their way to London. They did not travel back to Los Angeles just to go back across the pond. So maybe the advantage of jet lag is irrelevant here. I think Jacksonville kind of has an advantage anytime they play in London, but it's hard for me to believe that the Rams are going to lose this game. I think Sean McVay has the edge over Liam Cohen. Cohen was under Sean McVay just a couple years ago in the Rams offense. And even though they've looked really good, they did just lose to Sam Darnold. I don't know if they are fully legit, but they did beat the Chiefs. This is a go either way game. I kind of don't want to give you a pick, but I'm not going to cop out. I will take the Rams. I do think even without Puka Nacua, Stafford can get the best of Trevor Lawrence. I'm still not fully a believer in T-Law. I thought they would win last week against Darnold, but they did lose. They let me down. And even though they did beat the Chiefs, I just don't see it. I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to trust Devontae Adams and Kyron Williams. Maybe their defense really doesn't show up, but I think they will. I think they will stop the run well enough. And even though their secondary's a little rough, I have not seen enough from Brian Thomas Jr. to know he can torch them. So give me the Rams. I think Adams has a big game in London. I think that'll put them over the top. But defense is going to be the main focus of this matchup. I think the Rams can hold off the Jags just enough. Give me LA. I'll take Sean McVay and the Rams over Liam Cohen and the Jaguars. The master beats the apprentice. In Chicago, the Saints come to town, and I do not think the Bears will be taking them seriously. I think Chicago can beat anyone, but also lose to anyone, and when they are not really paying attention, I think they can get swept off their feet. So I believe Chicago will play well, but kind of fall apart as the game goes along. Caleb Williams has looked really good in scripted scenarios. Early in the game, when everything is planned out, he has played pretty well. But as the game goes along, as the adjustments come in from the defense, he has not quite lived up to the standard. But because it's at home, I think their defense shows up just enough. And I also just haven't seen enough touchdown production out of Spencer Rattler to feel too confident. So I think the game is pretty close. I want to take the upset here, but I will take Chicago in a close one. I'll take the Bears just barely. I'll stick with Caleb Williams reluctantly. In Cleveland, the Browns are hosting Miami, and Tua is just throwing way too many interceptions and turnovers. I think the Browns defense will exploit that. So it's rough to run against Cleveland. If not for A-Chain last week, they wouldn't have had a chance against the Chargers. And if A-Chain is not popping off some big plays, I just don't see it. So I know the Dolphins defense is ass at defending the run. They just let Kamani Vidal top 100 yards. Quinshon Judkins is going to have a big bounce back against the Dolphins. Give me Quinshon Judkins and the Browns to get the win. I think they win on the back of their run game. The Dolphins are ass on defense. They're not the same team on the road, especially. Give me Cleveland over Miami. In Tennessee, we have the Mike Vrabel revenge game, and the Titans did just fire their head coach, but they also lose the offensive line coach, the father of Brian Callahan, and maybe the head coach is not the biggest loss. Sometimes with the interim, teams really rally for the new guy and really step up, but I have not seen enough from Tennessee to trust them. Vrabel has been coaching his ass off. The defense is really getting going for the Patriots, and Drake May just looked like an MVP against New Orleans. He got it done without Diggs and Hunter Henry really leading the charge. So if you're going to get contributions from Kayshon Boutte and DeMario every week, I trust the Pats offense, and at some point, Travion Henderson will step up. It's a good matchup on the ground. Titans run defense has been shit. So if they get anything from Ramondre or Travion, they should cruise to victory. The Titans fucking suck. I've lost faith in them. I thought Cam Ward would look decent. He is not. And I just don't trust that the new coach is going to be able to overcome an avalanche coming towards them. So give me the Patriots. I'm not going to bet against Vrabel going back to Tennessee. Give me the Patriots overwhelmingly over the Titans. In Kansas City, the Chiefs get Rashee Rice back from suspension, and that's really the only key piece missing. But their offense has started to figure things out, even without him. So the Raiders' defense is pretty shit. There was honestly some concern that they could lose to the Titans, and against the Chiefs, there's no fucking chance. I'm taking Geno Smith. So Geno probably has another 3 turnovers this week. I will definitely take Kansas City. With Rashee Rice, watch out. The Chiefs are going to be very tough to stop. They beat the Lions. They can definitely beat Las Vegas. This game is in Kansas City. And oftentimes, the Raiders play up to the Chiefs, especially on the road in this matchup. But I just don't see it. I'm not going to put my money on Geno Smith if I don't have to. Give me Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Rashee Rice to get the job done. Give me the Chiefs over Las Vegas, 100%. I'm taking Kansas City. In Minnesota, we got an interesting quarterback situation brewing. J.J. McCarthy has practiced for the Vikings, but I don't think they should go back to him. I really don't think he's ready. I do not think he would play well against the Eagles off extra rest. So I am really hoping we get the Carson Wentz revenge game. I think that's really the best offense the Vikings have to offer at this point in time under Carson Wentz. I'm sure Justin Jefferson would like that to be the case. His stats have been way better with Wentz, and I don't fear the Eagles right now. Quinyon Mitchell got hurt. If Jalen Carter's out again, then the losses they sustained during free agency on defense are really showing an impact. They were terrible against Scadaboo and Jackson Dart on Thursday. So they get extra time, but I really don't think that the vibe in the building is good. I think the extra time off that loss is actually going to do more damage than good. The Eagles media is not helping the situation. So I do not trust Nick Sirianni. At the end of the day, I think the coaching is just not being elevated. They lost Kellen Moore And the new offensive coordinator seems to have a fixation on Dallas Goedert when A.J. Brown and Saquon are also on the field. So I don't know what to make of the Eagles play calling. Jalen Hurts is not that inspiring. He almost threw a pick six that was just bad against the Giants. So I'm losing faith in Philly. 2 years ago, when they started to lose games after their Super Bowl appearance, they collapsed after starting off like, what was it, 10-1? They really looked like shit. So I don't trust them. Kevin O'Connell with extra time to prep, not a coach I want to bet against. I will take Carson Wentz and Justin Jefferson to have an amazing performance against the Eagles. Give me the Carson Wentz revenge game to turn into a Vikings win. The Vikings home field advantage is legit. Give me Minnesota with the upset. But if you told me JJ McCarthy does get the start, then I will change my opinion. On Saturday, I'll know who the starter is, but for now, I'm going to assume it's Wentz. Give me the Vikings over the Eagles. In New York, the Jets are hosting Carolina, and I did like what I saw from the Jets defense. They held Denver to only 13 points in London. So if their run defense can actually stop people, then Rico Dowdle's not going to torch them. They do have a shot if the defense finally wakes up. It's been a big problem up until last week, but then the offense didn't do shit against Denver. So the Panthers are slightly easier to go up against, but their defense has looked good at times. And because Garrett Wilson is injured, I don't think he's going to play. I just don't see it. I just don't trust Justin Fields enough on his own. If without Garrett Wilson, they really don't have the playmakers to move the needle. So I'm going to take Carolina. I was a believer that the Panthers were better than last year. Entering the year, I picked them to go 9-8. And so far, they are looking like a 500 team. The Jets are still winless. So I will trust Carolina. I think at this point in time, they have the better quarterback, the better coach, and the better defense. They have looked really good at times, but other times they've been bad. On the road, it's kind of tricky, but without Garrett Wilson, I'm not going to bet on Justin Fields. The Jets are due for a win, but I don't think it happens this week. I will take Carolina. Give me Bryce Young to get the dub over Justin Fields. I'll take Bryce over Fields. Next up, the Broncos come back from London. They do not choose to have the bye. Instead, they are at home to host the Giants. And the Giants get extra rest, but the Giants looked amazing at home against the Chargers and Eagles, and then on the road against the Saints, Dart looked like shit with 3 turnovers. So against Denver's defense, I don't think they'll pull any punches. It's not like 2 of their key best players are going to be missing and injured like Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell. I think Denver can really exploit Jackson Dart's lack of passing ability. I really don't trust Dart from a passing standpoint. So I will take Denver. Pat Surtain going to give him some problems. Overall, the Broncos defense should limit Jackson Dart enough. Maybe he can scramble and get the job done. Maybe Scatterbo just completely obliterates every opponent and gives them a concussion. It feels kind of naive to bet against Scatterbo right now. He looks so good. But at the same time, I also don't believe that it's sustainable. At some point, inevitably, Scatterbo will be out with a concussion. And Jackson Dart is also running like a madman. At some point, he will get way too banged up to finish the game. So it could happen this week, but odds are, even if they complete the game, the Broncos defense should hold up to strength. I will take Denver. I will trust Sean Payton over Brian Daboll, but I don't feel great about it. I could see Jackson Dart and Scatterbo lead the Giants to victory, but they just don't have enough pieces. If Slayton isn't active, if Neighbors, can't draw away the Surtain coverage, I just don't see it happening. I will take the Broncos over the Giants. Both teams beat Philly, and I think Denver is much better than New York. Give me the Broncos over the Giants. In LA, the Chargers are hosting Indianapolis, and I will be at this game, but I'm not going to rep my Chargers hat. I do think the Colts will win. I just don't trust the Chargers offense right now. I know Kimani Vidal looked amazing against Miami, but their run defense is one of the worst in the NFL, and it's just not the same situation against Indy. So the Chargers started off really good on defense. They've looked pretty mediocre the last few weeks, and they have struggled to stop the run. JCM had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. A-Chain also torched them. I don't see them stopping Jonathan Taylor. So I'm going to be in attendance in section 226, row 6. I hope they get the win, but I just don't see it. I've been to 3 Charger games since last year, and they've never won while I've been in attendance. So perhaps I am their bad luck charm, but in general, they just have no home field advantage, and they just don't win in home games. And I've seen enough from Daniel Jones to stop betting against him. I like Shane Steichen. I like Jonathan Taylor. I like what the Colts are doing, and I just don't think the Chargers have enough, especially if Quentin Johnston isn't active. I don't see it. I do not see Kamani Vidal keeping the offense on the field, moving chains with 20-yard pickups every few touches. So I just don't see it. I want my Chargers to win. I think it'll be a close game, hopefully, but I will take Indianapolis. I will bet against my favorite team because I don't think with the Chargers' offensive line injuries and Hampton out that they have the pieces, I am worried that they do not win the division and maybe even miss the playoffs. Their travel will be a factor as the year goes on. I think injuries might continue to pile up. And this week, they're pretty depleted, especially on the offensive line. Give me Indianapolis over the Chargers. But Lord, I hope I'm wrong. I'm often wrong on this channel. This is one I want to be wrong about. Please let my Chargers win, but I will take Indianapolis. In Dallas, a division battle between Jaden Daniels and Dak Prescott. The Commanders head to Jerry's World, and I do not see the Cowboys defense having any answers. They can beat anyone. Their offense is that good, but they can also lose to anyone. Their defense is that bad. So against really good quarterbacks, I'm not going to pick them. I still think the Cowboys will have a losing record this season, and they are definitely living up to that expectation. So with a 2-3-1 record, I think it gets worse. Give me the Commanders over Dallas. Even if Terry McLaurin does not come back, I think Bill Krosky-Merritt can win this game on his own. But Daniels will look really sharp, really effective. Debo's going to torch them. And hopefully Zach Ertz steps up enough where he does not give you a bagel like he did 2 weeks ago. Give me Washington over Dallas. I think the Commanders are a pretty live bet to win the division. I do not trust the Eagles right now. I feel like a collapse in Philly is incoming. So give me Washington to continue their dominance. I picked them to lose against the Bears, but I don't trust the Cowboys defense. I do trust Washington in division to beat on Dallas. Give me the Commanders over the Cowboys. In Arizona, the Cardinals are hosting Green Bay, and I'm worried Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to suit up. So can Trey McBride do it all himself? I wouldn't bet on that. I do not know if Kyler Murray will play, but honestly, I think their offense is just as bad with Jacoby Brissett. I don't think it really moves the needle who's the quarterback in Arizona. So Kyler feels irrelevant. I trust the Packers coaching. Although their defense has not lived up to expectation, I feel like they should be much better than they've been the last few weeks. I just don't see it for the Cardinals offense. Maybe Trey McBride will just have the game of his life and it doesn't matter, but I will take Green Bay. I think Parsons gets some sacks in this one, and I think the Cardinals are going to start to quit as the losses start to pile up. That loss against Tennessee really started the morale to dip downward, and now that they have a backup quarterback in, the hope in the building is going to dwindle. So I will take the Packers to beat Arizona. It's definitely a game they should win. If they don't, it would be disappointing. I will trust Matt LaFleur. Give me the Packers over the Cardinals. In San Francisco on Sunday Night Football, the Niners host the Falcons, and at some point the injuries are just going to be too many to overcome. They just lost Fred Warner, and there's really no one on defense that you worry about. So even though Robert Saleh is a great defensive coordinator, can definitely put up a good game plan, I think the Falcons will find a way to get past them, and I just worry that they don't have enough to stop Bijan Robinson. Bijan should be amazing in primetime again. He gets 2 back-to-back primetime games, and last time we saw him on Sunday night, he fucking demolished Minnesota. So I will take Atlanta. I don't feel great about it. Raheem Morris as a coach is not as inspiring as the Niners. And then there's also a scenario where George Kittle comes back. This is actually his expected return date in week 7. And Ricky Pearsall could return. Juwan Jennings was back, but he did nothing last week. And Kendrick Bourne seems to be their top option with Mac Jones. So perhaps Purdy comes back. However, they have lost some games with Purdy. Mac Jones was looking better this year. And I just don't really know what to make of the Niners on offense. So even though Eddie Pinheiro gives me more confidence than Jake Moody did at kicker, I'm going to take the Falcons. I picked the Falcons to make the playoffs. I picked the Niners to miss the playoffs back in the summer. And given the injury list for the San Francisco 49ers, I think that'll be the case. This week, it does turn out on the opposite side. Give me Atlanta on the road at San Francisco. At some point, the injuries are just going to be too many to overcome. Give me the Falcons on the road at San Fran. On Monday, we have another doubleheader, unfortunately. I do not like the doubleheaders. Just give me one game to lock in on Monday. I don't like to have to flip between the two. I just want to pick one and be over with it. So we get 2 games. Not that excited, but one looks like an elite matchup, and sadly, injuries are factoring in as well. If the Bucs are without Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Emeka Egbuka, it's hard for me to believe that Tez Johnson and Cameron Johnson and Sterling Shepard are going to be enough against Detroit. But Rachaad White is really stepping up. Cade Otton has looked better the last couple weeks, and Baker is just playing at an MVP level. I do not want to be betting against Baker Mayfield right now. So even though the Lions are a juggernaut, they're playing at home, and Goff always looks good at home, I don't know what it is. I'm just too tempted to trust Tampa. I think Todd Bowles' defense can play up to competition. They've been vulnerable the last few weeks, especially against the pass, but I think they can get the job done. I'm going to take Tampa. I don't feel good about it. This game feels like a toss-up, but I feel like the public is definitely going to be on Detroit, and I bet against them last week. I'm willing to do it again, even in prime time. Give me Baker Mayfield. I am less willing to bet against Baker at the moment than I am against Dan Campbell. If not for some of those 4th down decisions, there might be a few extra field goals on the board, and maybe a close game turns into a close L because of those decisions. So I will take Tampa. Not the safest pick, but betting against Baker right now is just not what I want to do. I will trust in Baker Mayfield, my pick for MVP. I think he'll get it. I think Baker will lead them to the promised land and win the MVP. Last game of the week is Seattle hosting Houston. And what's crazy about the Seahawks is that they can't win at home. For decades, it felt like they were one of the best home field advantages in the NFL. And for some reason, last few years, it has crumbled. This year, they lost to the Niners at home. They also lost to the Bucs at home. And this week, they get Houston coming off a bye with extra rest. Maybe Woody Marks can surprise us like he did 3 weeks ago, but I'm not totally convinced that CJ Stroud actually knows what he's doing, actually has the time to get the ball out effectively. So I have not seen enough from anyone other than Nico Dowdle to trust the Texans offense. Meanwhile, I think JSN is looking matchup proof, and I think Charbonnet and Ken Walker will be very effective. So although the Texans are a bit of a desperate situation right now, they need some wins, I could see an upset because Seattle has been so bad at home for whatever reason. They just can't win on their home field. But I think this is where that trend switches up. I will take the Seahawks over the Texans. I believe Seattle is a better team. So I'll take them. I'm just going to trust their coach and defense. Even though they've been a bit vulnerable, I just don't trust the Texans offense very much. I think that 44-pointer against Baltimore is not repeatable. Give me Seattle at home to finally beat someone in Washington. Give me Seattle over Houston. There's 2 teams on bye, the Ravens and Buffalo. So these are my picks for the 15 games in week 7. I'm taking the Bengals over Mike Tomlin. He has a terrible Thursday night record. Give me Cincinnati over Pittsburgh. In London, I'll take the Rams over Jacksonville. A bit of a coin flip, but I'm going to trust Sean McVay over Liam Cohen. In Chicago, I could see an upset, but I will take Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson in a narrow, close victory. Rookie head coaches, I'll take the home team in this one. Give me Chicago over New Orleans. In Cleveland, I'll take the Browns over Miami. Tua against this defense is not something I want to trust. And then Mike Vrabel going back to Tennessee will get the win in a revenge game. Give me the Patriots over the Titans. In Kansas City, with Rashee Rice coming back, I'll take the Chiefs in a blowout over Las Vegas. And then in Minnesota, I'll take Carson Wentz to get the start and get revenge on the Eagles. The Carson Wentz revenge game is a dub for the Vikings. In New York, I still don't trust the Jets. Give me the Panthers over Justin Fields. If Garrett Wilson had played, then maybe I'd take the Jets, but not expecting that to happen. So I'll go Carolina instead. And then in Denver, I want to take Jackson Dart, but I just trust the Broncos defense. I'll take Sean Payton and the Broncos over Brian Daboll and the Giants. In LA, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I've seen enough not to trust the Chargers. Give me the Colts at SoFi over the Chargers. In Dallas, I do not trust the Cowboys defense. Give me Jaden Daniels and the Commanders over the Cowboys. And then in Arizona, give me the Packers over the Cardinals, a game they should win pretty comfortably. And then in San Fran, I'm worried about the defensive injuries piling up. Give me the Falcons and Bijan Robinson over the Niners. In Detroit, I'll take Baker to keep rolling. Give me the Bucks over the Lions. And then in Seattle, give me the Seahawks to finally win at home over Houston. Those are my win-loss picks, and every week I give you 6 picks against the spread. Here they are. I'm taking the Bengals to win straight up, so getting 5.5 points in a division home game on Thursday night, I will happily take that extra cushion. Maybe they do lose, but I don't think it's by a full touchdown. Give me the Bengals plus 5.5. I took the Vikings to win straight up, and so far the Eagles are starting to look very vulnerable, starting to fall apart. I will bet on the downward spiral to continue. Give me Carson Wentz plus 2.5. I'll take the Vikings at home to cover the spread. I also think the Bucs can win outright, so let's take another underdog. Tampa plus 4.5. Last night it was 5.5. I wish I got that number, but I will still take Tampa to win straight up. I think they will keep it to within a field goal at worst. I do think the Bears will win over the Saints. However, I see a very close game, and I think the public is underestimating Spencer Rattler and the Saints. They've been in some close ones this year, and I just don't see a touchdown victory by Chicago. Their defense is not good enough to feel like they're safe to win by blowout. Give me New Orleans to keep it within a field goal, plus 4.5. I'm going to take the Saints on the road and the points, but the Bears win straight up. Lastly, I'm going to take 2 favorites. I think the Commanders going to Dallas are going to win comfortably. Minus 2.5. I'm definitely taking Washington. I think they'll win by well more than a field goal. Lastly, I think Mike Vrabel is going to completely torch his old organization. Sometimes with new interim coaches, teams really step up and shock some people, but I just don't see it. The Titans have been so ass. Even the game they won, they got so lucky they didn't deserve it. I will take the Patriots to win and cover. They will win by at least 10 points. I'll take the Patriots minus 7 against the spread. So those are my picks. The Bengals plus 5.5, the Vikings plus 2.5, the Bucks plus 4.5, the Saints plus 4.5, 4 underdogs, as well as Washington to cover minus 2.5, and the Patriots to also cover, my only big favorite on the week, the Pats minus 7. That's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Apologies on the post time today. It's a bit later than normal, but I did have some work this morning. Hope you can forgive me. If not, tough shit. Came a little late. Most of y'all watch on Tuesday. Anyway, that's it for me. Let me know in the comments if I was right on the Falcons over Buffalo and the Bears over Washington. Odds are I go 1-1 and we still retain the same difference on this week's predictions. Hopefully I'm 13-2 though. I sure need it. That's it though. My name's Adam Riancho. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Nice and blunt.